draft. It's the best time of year. We're more excited than when you've got a Wolverine in your pants. It's fantasy football season. I am Paul Charchian. Thank you to everybody that's come to Treasure Island for this live event. We love doing this. We went on hold for the 3 years through the pandemic. We're delighted to be back, and what a phenomenal setup at Treasure Island. This is as good as it gets. My co-host today, Matt Harrison right here, Brian Johnson. Thank you guys for coming. It's awesome to be back. My regular co-host. This is year number 29, Fantasy Football Weekly. Wow. We were drafting like Tony Dorsett or something back when this thing started, long time ago.
Only Wolverines.
Only Wolverines. Yes, yeah. Only Michigan Wolverines. Yeah. Yes. That would be Tom Brady right there. 29 years ago is about right for Tom Brady. It's just about
he's not
right.
Quite that old.
It's almost. We're really excited for the show today. We've got tons of great stuff coming up. We will have our usual that we do the first episode of every year. We go through one new thing that's the most important thing to know from the off season of every single team. We're going to give you a segment where we give a bold prediction called the Peacock-off, where we give you exceptionally bold predictions that we think are going to come true. And then everybody's favorite segment that we do all preseason long, the reach around. For sure. Everybody loves the reach around. So all of that coming up more. We've got some special giveaways courtesy of Treasure Island as well for the people that are here in attendance. Excited to get that for you as well. So lots to get to over the course of the show. I want to start with our breakdown of, let's see here, where are my notes? There we go. Breakdown, our team-by-team off-season moves. And let's begin with the Arizona Cardinals. What's the one thing people need to know, Matt?
The biggest thing that you need to know is they suck. They're probably the worst team in the NFL this year. Kyler Murray probably won't be back until mid-October at the earliest, and even then, is he going to be mobile? DeAndre Hopkins is gone. The best thing they did all offseason was trade the number 3 overall pick to Houston and gain the Texans first in 2024. The Cards could have 2 top 10 picks in the draft next year. That'd be nice.
All right, let's go to the Atlanta Falcons. Brian, what's the one thing people need to know about their offseason?
It's all about Bijan Robinson, who they took 8th overall. The most hyped running back since Saquon Barkley, Adrian Peterson. Right now, top 3 in terms of ADP among running backs, going ahead of guys like Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley. The question is, will he pay off that ADP? It's a great landing spot in Atlanta. Last season, Falcons running backs as a whole were 2nd in rushing attempts and first in rushing yards, but will Bijan be the bell cow? Tyler Algier not going anywhere, but he'll play a secondary role for sure. But personally, I'm a little worried about trusting a rookie as a top 3 running back. I'd take Chubb and Barkley over him, but could be wrong. Only time will tell.
Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley were both fantastic rookies.
They paid off.
They paid off. So it's not like it hasn't happened before and recently. Baltimore Ravens changed their offensive coordinator. They were run heavy with Greg Roman. He's out now. Todd.
Don't call me.
Art Monken is in. Monken says he's going to bring balance to the Ravens offense, and that should unlock a lot more value from the passing game. That would be Mark Andrews, OBJ, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. But what remains unclear is, are those extra passes going to take rushing opportunities away from Lamar Jackson? Because all things being even, we'd rather have a running play from Lamar Jackson than a passing play.
Yeah.
I don't think our audience is old enough to get the Todd, don't call me Art Monken
reference.
Does anyone know who Art Monk is out there? All right,
I got a few people who know Art Monk is.
There's some fellow dinosaurs out there.
He had a 42-year career, so you'd like to think that people would know who Art Monk is.
Super great on Tecmo Super Bowl, by the way.
No doubt.
Yeah.
He's no Bo Jackson, of course.
No.
But nobody was.
No.
Let's go to the Buffalo Bills. Matt, what's the one thing you need to know?
Stephon Diggs is the squeakiest wheel in the league. He doesn't like his role in Buffalo, which is strange because he's got a great role in Buffalo and possibly has some sort of personal beef with Josh Allen. Sean McDermott was concerned about it during mini camps. It probably stems from Diggs only having 35 yards on 10 targets, by the way, in their AFC divisional loss to Cincinnati.
At the end of the day, he'll be fine, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Carolina Panthers, what's the one thing people need to know from their offseason?
Complete overhaul of the offense. Drafted Bryce Young 1st overall. Wide receiver Jonathan Mingo in the early 2nd round. Also added running back Miles Sanders. Wide receivers Adam Thielen and DJ Chark. And tight end Hayden Hurst. All of them projected starters. So we'll see what we have in Carolina. Personally, I'm just going for the cheapest guys in Hayden Hurst and DJ Chark because
Well, because you're a coward.
oh no, just strategic.
That's why.
Wow. You're just a Thielen Bobo, that's all.
I am, and we may even talk more about that later in this show.
I'm sure we will.
Let's go to the Chicago Bears. They acquired DJ Moore from the Panthers in that big blockbuster trade where they moved out of the first spot in the draft. That brings a star receiver to Chicago for the first time since...
I think it's Alshon Jeffrey.
Maybe Elsie. Was he a star receiver?
Brandon
Maybe?
Marshall.
Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marshall had some years.
Brandon Marshall had some good years.
Yeah.
Were they in Chicago, though?
More in Denver.
Yeah, it seemed like it was more in Denver. Yeah,
Bernard Berrien was the best Bears wide receiver that I can remember.
That's sad,
It's 06,
actually. Yeah. And that's a sensitive topic among Viking fans.
Maybe
You don't want to go there.
Willie Galt? How about that?
Willie Galt. Let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals. What's the one thing to know about their offseason?
We're monitoring Joe Burrow's calf injury, but we think he'll be okay. But the Bengals offseason was a good one. They signed tackle Orlando Brown away from the Chiefs, which should help protect Burrow even more. They did lose both starting safeties, Von Bell and Jesse Bates. So defensively, the deep middle could be exploited by opposing offenses this year, which could mean a few more run-up-the-score games. And that might be fun.
That could be fun. Let's go to the Cleveland Browns. Brian, what's the one thing from their offseason we should know?
It's Nick Chubb time. He was a early third-round pick. If you're a degenerate like me, drafting in March, he's moved into the late first, early second.
Yeah.
Always been a legit early down back, but we could see him in a true bell cow role this year with Kareem Hunt and D'Ernest Johnson gone. Jerome Ford was set as a primary backup, but he's week to week with a hamstring injury, so Chubb could be in line for a monster workload to start the season. Browns running back coach Stump Mitchell says Chubb can absolutely be a weapon as a pass catcher. He just didn't have those opportunities with Hunt in that role, and I got Nick Chubb as my RB1. I know I'm alone on that island, but I think he's going to be the top running back in all formats.
You're alone on Chubb Island?
It's a lonely place to be.
Wow, just like you were 15 again. Dallas Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott's gone, replaced by, well, basically nobody. Malik Davis is still there. He looked bad last year when he was given the opportunity with a few runs here and there. They drafted minute runner Deuce Vaughn, who's about yay big, in the sixth round.
Deuce feet tall.
He is about Deuce feet tall. I like that. And people compare him to Darren Sproles, but Darren Sproles was awesome at everything he did. As a receiver, a runner, punt returner, kick returner. He's a fantastic player. I don't think Deuce Vaughn's nearly that good, and I don't think he's much of an issue here. We'll talk more about Tony Pollard a little bit later in the show and what that means for him. Let's go to the Denver Broncos. Matt, what's the one thing people need to know about their offseason?
Sean Payton is the biggest news in Denver this offseason, along with a revamped offense and hope of the resurrection of Russell Wilson's career. Assisting with that, the Broncos signed two of the top offensive linemen on the market, Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers. And then Javonte Williams looks like he may be good to go for the start of the season now, so the Broncos' offense should be much improved.
All right, Brian, Detroit Lions.
One of the teams that had a major makeover in their backfield gone are Jamal Williams, who led the league in rushing touchdowns last year with 17. DeAndre Swift also gone. So in comes David Montgomery from Chicago. And they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs 12th overall, sunk a ton of draft capital into Gibbs. Gibbs going well before Montgomery in fantasy drafts, but I don't know if drafters are getting that right, if Montgomery's going to soak up that goal line work, which you would suspect he does, that was vacated by Williams. But we'll see how that pans out.
For the Green Bay Packers, obviously Aaron Rodgers is gone. We know that worked out. They've got Jordan Love getting a start. He played last night. The arm strength is really good. I mean, that guy, he can throw a deep ball. And whether the other stuff's going to come together is not very clear yet. They've got the young receivers, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, second-round rookie Jaden Reed. They got two of the highly drafted tight ends. This is going to be, if it can all come together quickly for Green Bay, tons of upside in that offense, but much of it hinges on the development of Jordan Love.
I mean, usually in the first preseason game, you start your backup quarterback. So maybe Love doesn't even have this job yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you saw Sean Clifford play in the second and third quarters, you don't want any part of that.
Who's Sean Clifford?
He is the next man up. So they are all in on Jordan Love, I can assure you.
I was expecting more boos during that Packers breakdown.
Yeah.
We're only, literally a stone's throw from Wisconsin, though.
No, we're in Wisconsin, aren't we?
No.
No, we are not in Wisconsin.
You don't even know what state
Well,
you're
we're
in
so
right
close. We're so close to Wisconsin. I thought at some point we were in Wisconsin.
People
All right.
don't seem drunk enough for us to be in Wisconsin.
Oh, it's
now. It's also 10 a.m.
there's that.
There's no time in a casino.
There's no time in Wisconsin either.
They can't tell time in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's
it.
it.
That's the
Yeah,
distinction.
All right,
obviously.
you're taking it too far.
Houston Texans, Matt.
It's almost a completely new team. D'Amico Ryans is the new head coach. C.J. Stroud, the new quarterback. They added some veterans on the offense, Dalton Schultz, Robert Woods, and Devin Singletary. They grabbed Tank Dell, which is a guy I think all of us kind of like as a deep sleeper this year. Plus, they get John Mechie back from leukemia. This is a brand new offense, and the defense looks like they're going to get better with a whole bunch of new additions as well.
Brian, what's the one thing people need to know about the Colts offseason?
Well, I want to talk about how Anthony Richardson seems poised to break fantasy football scoring, but it's all about Jonathan Taylor right now, and will he really hold out? My gut tells me he won't. The last running back of his caliber to hold out was Le'Veon Bell, and that pretty much ruined his career.
It did ruin his career.
Bell openly said he regrets that holdout, so I think he will sign eventually, but I think we'll talk more about JT a little later in the show as well.
I'll do the Jaguars. It won't take long. The only notable move for them, aside from getting Calvin Ridley in the deal that they made last year, is they re-signed Evan Ingram to a fat new contract worth $42 million, coming off a career high in catches, receiving yards. And he's got some upside, although there's a lot of skill position players that want the ball in their hands in that offense. And so I still think there's going to be a lot of inconsistency from Evan Ingram. Let's work in a couple more teams. Kansas City Chiefs.
You know, there's not a ton of movement here. They replaced Orlando Brown with Jawan Taylor at tackle. They also let Juju Smith-Schuster and Mecole Hardman walk in free agency, but I don't think anybody's going to miss them. They're going to be among the favorites to win the Super Bowl again. They're fine.
Okay. Let's go to the Raiders. What's the one thing we need to know about their offseason, Brian?
More holdout talk. Josh Jacobs has not reported to camp yet. He wants a deal of some sorts or a trade. So again, I don't think he can afford to hold out. I don't think he will. But as of right now, Zamir White is the running back you want for the Raiders.
Yeah, going undrafted. I mean, we got to start a current starting running back who is not drafted in most leagues.
He's been creeping up, but he's still a big time value if Jacobs does actually hold out.
Right on. Los Angeles Chargers. Aside from getting Austin Eckler some new money, I think the most important thing to know is the upgraded offensive coordinator for the Chargers. They let dink and dunk specialist Joe Lombardi go, and thank God. That was a huge mismatch for this offense. And they brought in the Cowboys offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who got fired because
The Cowboys
he scored too quickly.
yeah, he scored too many points too fast, so they got to let him go. That's not how they're going to do business in Dallas. Kellen Moore's going to unleash much more of a downfield passing attack with the three receivers they've got there, including new first-round rookie Quentin Johnston as well. So a lot to like about the Chargers and the prospects of a much better offense being run through offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. I want to head to a break, and we'll do the second half of these teams that we haven't yet talked about. But let me ask this. I just went on the clock in one of my guillotine leagues. Should we let the audience make this pick for me when we come back? You guys like that idea? Yeah, I'd live with your decision. I'll decide. I'll narrow it down to like 4 players, and I'll let you guys make the pick. How's that sound? All right.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we'll have some fun with that when we come back. It's Fantasy Football Weekly live from Treasure Island Casino.
Meat Sauce here for the best deal in windows. Of course, that's Window Nation and windownation.com. If you want to lower those energy bills and get brand new energy efficient windows, right now you get 50% off any style window. Bows, bays, double hung, sliders, 50% off. Plus you put 0 down, make 0 payments, and you pay 0% interest for 24 months. Call 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
In this week's Marketers Report, we hear about the importance of local radio from Allison Griffin, head of marketing at State Farm.
iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, trusted influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Meat Sauce here. Summer is here as well. As you are on the go chasing your kids around town or hanging out on the backyard on the deck, make life easy for dinner at home with a 7th Avenue Pizza. Pop it in the oven or even try cooking it on the grill. You can find 7th Avenue Pizza at Coburn's.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every business deserves a great deal. That's why, for a limited time, we're launching the Mobile Made Free event. With Comcast Business Internet, new and existing customers can find out how to get one line of unlimited mobile free for a year. Yep, you heard that right. An entire year, free. It's our best internet, powered by the next generation 10G network and with 99.9% reliability, paired with the flexibility to bring your own mobile device for no extra cost. Plus, you can save even more on additional lines for anyone in your business who needs one. And a whole year of savings. Well, that adds up. Business-ready mobile service for free. Every day of every month for a whole year. Don't wait. The Mobile Made Free event is happening now. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends September 21st, 2023. Restrictions apply. Mobile offer requires 100 megabits per second internet package and new unlimited intro mobile service. Other restrictions apply.
Rosie here. Every year, Car and Driver magazine tests hundreds of vehicles and picks the 10 best. It's called the Car and Driver 10 Best List. And Honda is the only company that's made the list every single year. This year, the list includes the CR-V and Civic. Plus, the Honda Accord made the list a record-setting 37th time. That's more times than any other vehicle. So to see what makes Honda the best year after year, see your Greater Twin Cities Honda dealer for a test drive today.
Staples presents a lesson in back-to-school savings. Your local Staples now accepts Amazon returns. So when you return your Amazon order at Staples, you receive a coupon for $10 off your next $30 Staples purchase. So you can save even more on top of huge back-to-school deals. Like right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and marble comp books are each just 50 cents. Staples gives you more ways to save even more. 50-cent offers limit 30 and end 8/26. Comp books in-store only. Pricing and limits may vary in-store and online. Amazon return offer in-store only. Exclusions apply.
Beer Fest, Beer Fest, Beer Fest. Saturday, August 12th is Canterbury Park's annual Beer Fest. Sample hundreds of unique craft beers while enjoying the excitement of live racing. Beer Fest at Canterbury Park, Saturday, August 12th. CanterburyPark.com for details.
Fleet Farm's having a huge Milwaukee tool event, August 10th through the 12th. Save $250 on M18 cordless 6-tool combo kits. And get a free M18 battery worth $189 when you buy an M18 fuel cordless impact wrench. Plus, spend $159 on select M18 tools, get a matching lithium battery free. For 3 big days, get high-power deals on Milwaukee tools. In-store only at Fleet Farm. Home to everything you need for everyday life.
Our podcasts are radio shows, and our radio shows are podcasts, whether it's live or on demand. Thanks for listening to The Fan.
Welcome back. Fantasy Football Weekly, year number 29, live from Treasure Island Resort and Casino. It is football season, and we are having fun. We begin by breaking down the off seasons. Well, the one key thing you need to know from the off season. Perhaps you were spending the last 6 months, I don't know, like with your family, or working on your career, something like that, not monitoring every transaction across the NFL. We're here to get you up to speed on what's been happening around the NFL. Then we'll do our Peacock-off. We've got 3 tough questions, and then everybody's favorite, the reach around. Coming up a little bit later in the show. Let's pick up where we left off with the Los Angeles Rams. Matt, what's the one thing people need to know about the Rams?
I thought you were making a pick.
Oh, well, we're working on that. We're working.
Right.
I want to get my roster up on the screen so that the people here can see who I've already got. I mean, it's going to be my 10th round pick.
Super fancy, Charch.
Yeah, very fancy, yes. Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah,
One thing people need to know.
The Rams' model of trading away all their picks for established veterans, well, we all knew it wasn't very sustainable, and now the bill is due. They were amongst the most cash-strapped teams this offseason, so they basically signed nobody. They didn't really lose much of value either. So they're really running it back and hoping that Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, and Cooper Kupp can all actually stay healthy for the full year and propel them to wins.
Brian, the Miami Dolphins, what's the one thing we need to know from their offseason?
Miami's got one of the more muddled backfields out there. We have Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, who did not play in Friday night's preseason game. And there's Devin Achane, who they drafted in the 3rd round, I believe, maybe the 4th round. But he came in after Salvin Ahmed and Myles Gaskin on Friday night. So he seems like more of the pass-catching specialist.
Seems like rookie hazing to me.
Yeah, I think it is too. That's we're sending a message. You haven't earned anything yet, rookie.
But this is a scenario where it doesn't make you a coward to take the cheapest guy in the backfield, and that would be Jeff Wilson. So if you must draft the Dolphins running back, it's Wilson right now, in my opinion.
Wow. That's how about if I just don't draft any of the Dolphins running backs?
I prefer that more if they're taking one, yes.
Speaking of running backs for the Vikings, of course, Dalvin Cook was released. Alexander Mattison is the expected starter, and in Thursday night's halftime interview, he described himself as the bell cow. So he thinks he's the bell cow anyway. Do I have a bell cow in here anymore?
I think it went away.
No, I don't
we have a workhorse.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. You guys can hear that, right?
He's working.
Not just me and my headphones. All right, good. Yeah, so we've got that.
It's just in your head, Charch, the horse noise. Just in your brain.
That is usually the case. Ty Chandler looked good on Thursday night. He looked good last preseason. I think he presses Alexander Mattison for at least passing down duty and maybe beyond that over the course of the season. Let's go to the New England Patriots. What's the one thing we need to know about their offseason?
It's all about Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, baby.
We
love Ramondre Stevenson here.
He could be the most cowbelly bell cow in the league this year, and it looks like they have one of the worst passing offenses in the league again. Adding Juju Smith-Schuster doesn't really help Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, and both of those guys probably get starts this year.
I can only hope Bailey Zappi gets a start at some point. New Orleans Saints. Brian, one thing from their offseason.
Well, the most important thing is not Derek Carr as a new quarterback, because he's just like Andy Dalton with black hair to me. Really. It's not a very exciting move.
And eyeliner.
And eyeliner.
Yeah. He's emo Andy Dalton.
I like that. Emo Andy. Another messy backfield. We got Alvin Kamara, who will be suspended for the first 3 games. Then Jamal Williams, mentioned before, led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. I don't like his chances of doing that in New Orleans. And they drafted Kendre Miller. So, again, another messy backfield that you're probably better off avoiding. But if you must, I would go with the cheapest guy again, because you always go with the cheap guys in these messy backfields, in my opinion.
The Giants they needed receiver help desperately, and they went and got Darren Waller from Las Vegas. You'll remember Waller was an absolute monster in 2019, 2020, but he's had 2 injury-plagued seasons since then.
That was pre-pandemic, Charch. Come on.
That was a while ago. Well, 2020 was the heart of it, right?
I guess.
We were in the grinder in 2020. Waller's by a mile the best receiver on the Giants. I'm very optimistic that he's going to get a lot of usage here, and that the reason that he didn't post great stats when he played last year is Josh McDaniels didn't even throw him the ball. He was getting 4 targets a game. So I'm very high on Darren Waller. The people here in attendance that are looking at my free cheat sheet can see that I've got Darren Waller higher than pretty much everybody at tight end number 3.
I'm way off of the Darren Waller train. I'm disagreeing with you hard on that one.
Yeah, and that's I totally get it.
Yeah.
You're a coward who likes to play it safe.
Hey, Darren Waller died 2 years ago. You don't even know it.
Almost, but not quite dead. New York Jets.
Aaron Rodgers and all of his pals went to New York.
Now we're talking.
Wait. Are these Packer fans booing? Because I think Viking fans, you gotta kind of like this Schadenfreude.
We can all boo him now.
I think everyone boos Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Well, it includes Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and his old offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. It's probably the biggest move of the whole offseason in the NFL.
Brian, what's the one thing we need to know about the Eagles offseason?
Dan Arnold signed. No, I wish. We'll be talking about Dan Arnold at some point this season. But no, another messy backfield. Rashad Penny no longer in Philly. In comes DeAndre Swift from Detroit. The Eagles also signed Rashad Penny, who is great when healthy, but very rarely is he healthy. And Kenneth Gainwell still in town. So again, to beat this dead horse, if I'm picking one running back, in this backfield, it's Kenneth Gainwell, Kenny G, the cheap guy.
I think I'm just avoiding, but okay. That's how you want to do it.
I said
It's fine
if
by
you
me.
must.
If you must, yes.
But we all know Jalen Hurts is going to lead this team in rushing touchdowns behind the famous tush push.
Well, yeah, that actually, yeah,
Eagles
you know, that
deploy.
could, yeah, that could be the case. The Pittsburgh Steelers is next up for me. Steelers, only notable news is that their offensive line got better. They put a first-round pick into Broderick Jones. They got guard Isaac Seumalo from Philadelphia. And so one of the league's worst offensive lines perennially should be better this year, and maybe that makes Najee Harris a little bit of a value. Let's go to the San Francisco 49ers.
The Niners lost 5 key members of their defense to free agency, along with tackle Mike McGlinchey. They were able to sign Javon Hargrave away from the Eagles to help on the defensive line. Also, it seems like they're moving forward with Brock Purdy as their starting quarterback if he's healthy enough to go. And he might be ready. He might not be ready. If he's not able to go, I think my money's on Sam Darnold getting the nod in week 1. I think Trey Lance is an afterthought.
Brian, what's the one thing people need to know about Seattle's offseason?
Seattle added to their offensive arsenal big time in the draft, drafting wide receiver, the #1 consensus wide receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and running back Zach Charbonnet. But really that doesn't do any favors to DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, or Njigba, and doesn't do any favors for Kenneth Walker or Charbonnet. Kind of adds competition to both of those positions, but great news for Geno Smith, who very undervalued right now. His quarterback 16 was a top 8 quarterback in points per game last year. So Geno getting slept on this year for reasons I don't comprehend. So a guy I've been targeting heavily in drafts.
It's probably because people remember Geno's time with the Jets. That's why.
So speaking of, this year's Geno Smith is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold will start games for the 49ers.
Yeah, probably.
Tampa Bay, obviously Tom Brady's gone. I don't think we really need to talk about that. Although Baker Mayfield looked good last night. I think he completed like 9 of 10 and a touchdown, and Baker Mayfield looked shockingly good. But I think maybe more notable, Leo Fournette got released, and that means Rashad White's your starting player, starting runner, but never been a workhorse back, even going back to his time in college. And as the starter last year, White didn't do much. I didn't think he started half of the games, but it turns out he did start half of the games for Tampa. 0 rushing touchdowns for Rashad White. There might be a little more danger with Rashad White than people realize, and we might even talk more about that later in the show. Let's go to the Tennessee Titans, Matt.
DeAndre Hopkins signed in Tennessee after being let go by the Cardinals. This could help open some holes for Derrick Henry and take some Okonkwo. But it's still Ryan Tannehill starting at quarterback for the month of September. I'm going to highlight this later in the deep dive segment.
Oh, okay.
But the Tennessee opening schedule, brutal for the pass. And I think Will Levis is the starter by week 6.
All right, I like it. Washington Commanders, our final off-season reminder.
There's some major hype around Sam Howell right now in charge. I think you might
I'm going to talk about it more later.
Some fuel on
I
that.
can't believe we don't have a wolf howl on the button bar yet.
For Howell? Oh, gosh, we need to get that.
That one we could actually just kind of do.
You just did it. All right, you'll be the button bar for that.
Okay.
Which part of you should I press? Where's the button on you? To get the howl, to make you howl.
Here.
Like Pillsbury Doughboy kind of a thing?
Right in the belly button? No, I need you to howl. I don't know why you want to go Pillsbury Doughboy. I want you to howl. What do I press if I want you to howl?
We'll talk about that later.
They got hotel rooms here, guys.
That's right. It is resort and casino.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. We could work that out.
You can bring the camera up there. And
Hey, I smell a new revenue stream coming our way.
all you need
Talk
is
about shock fantasy.
the black leather couch.
We're going to rename the show Only Fantasy Football.
Oh, yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, this is a good idea.
I quit.
All right. I promised I would let the crowd make the next selection. I'm on the clock in one of my guillotine leagues. It's up on the screen now, and thank you very much for the quick AV work over there. Great job. You can see the players I already have. Now, remember, when you're looking at this roster, this is an 18-team league. So, this is going to look like I skipped every other pick or something because there's almost twice as many teams as normal. So you can see where this went. I went Amon-Ra St. Brown from the 13 spot, came back with Chris Olave. Got to get a tight end in a guillotine league. We're going to talk more about the importance of having a tight end because there's 18 teams, and you don't want to be on the wrong end of Team 18 trying to find a tight end. So we went Dallas Goedert in the 3rd round, J.K. Dobbins, then Marquise Brown, Then Tank Bigsby, we'll talk more about him in a few minutes. Adam Thielen, who I think still got a little left in the tank. And then Gus Edwards to back up my J.K. Dobbins pick. And then also, just in case this thing really does play out weirdly, and J.K. Dobbins doesn't end up playing. He's just not playing right now with the team.
You love drafting both Ravens running backs like every year.
Yeah, you've been doing
I've
that
done
since.
this. This is, and it's worked out 0 times for me, and I keep coming back to it.
You made them both tear up their knee in the same year the last time you did this, if I recall. Correct?
Yeah.
And then after sloughing quarterback for all the way through 8 rounds, I went with Russell Wilson because he's got the Denver Broncos have perhaps the easiest starting schedule for passers, and Matt's going to talk about that a little bit later. And so I went with easy start of schedule with Russell Wilson. Here's some guys I'm interested in that are still on the clock. So you can see the 7 players that are sitting in my queue that are available, and I'm going to take one of them out because this guy is a secret guy for later. I'm not going to mention him on the air.
Okay.
I had him as a late.
Because people are listening to this who are in your draft.
That's right.
Oh my! You can't.
Exactly.
How can you mention what your queue is right now? Wow.
I know. It's very bold of me.
Yes, it is.
All right. So I'm counting on you guys not to screw this up for me. We've got 6 players in my queue. You can applaud for as many as you want, but applaud louder for the ones that you think I should take. Are you ready? First, Derek Carr.
That's
wow.
I think you could take him out of the queue.
Okay.
Well, we just called
Derek
him
Carr.
Emo Andy, so that didn't do him any favors.
All right. Sam Howell.
Don't touch me, Charch.
All right.
God, wouldn't it be cool if they were the Red Wolves instead of the Commanders?
They're going to change that team name, and they should. Next is Cincinnati's backup behind Joe Mixon, Chase Brown. All right, some deep dive people here.
After last night, it sounded like Chris Evans is the backup in Cincinnati right now.
You're absolutely right about that. I have the wrong guy in.
Kill him. Kill him.
Take him out.
There you go.
Tajay Spears is the backup behind Derrick Henry in Tennessee. That's it?
A smattering.
All right. Rashid Shaheed. That's my guy right there. Rashid Shaheed is, I believe, going to start the season as one of the 3 starting wide receivers for the Saints. He's a deep ball threat.
They got a really nice opening schedule,
and
too.
They do have the nice opening schedule. And then tight end Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
The Jer Bear.
Yeah. That's me.
It's mostly indifference out of this group, which worries me a little bit. When this happens when you get to round 10 in an 18-team league.
Yeah.
You're like, really? This is all I got?
They're like, who are these guys?
Exactly. Well, let me throw in this. As we're virtually on the border, as I've learned, what about Jordan Love? No, that's not happening. Out of this group, I thought there was the most love for Sam Howell. We're going to let you make this pick, and I'm going to ride or die with your decision.
I think they just...
Bang.
Wow.
Right there. Sam Howell. We'll see how this works out.
I really think they just wanted to hear the howl noise.
That could very well be it.
We're really excited.
When we come back to Fantasy Football Weekly, the Peacock-off. We'll give you 2 bold predictions from every one of our hosts that hopefully they will be peacocking about later on in the season. Stay tuned to Fantasy Football Weekly live from Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
This is The Fan. The Fan.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
Hey, it's Chris Hockey, the Power Trip Morning Show, heard right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Paul Allen, weekdays, 9 to noon.
I'm Dan Cole, the Common Man, bumper to bumper with me, Dan Barrero, right here on The Fan.
All of the great podcasts for every interest.
Minnesota Vikings channel on iHeartRadio.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
You win money $1,000!
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
To start the season, spray away stress. Get rid of grime. Clear the nerves. Do away with dirt and doubt. And lose the germs. For less worry and more wins. When you get to a clean slate, the possibilities are endless. Clorox. Start clean. Always use products as directed.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for a better sex life? Check out Roman. Roman has medication clinically proven to help you perform in bed. For 20% off your entire first order, go to ro.co/better. That's ro.co/better.
Summer comes with all sorts of fairs and festivals, which means our area is about to become overrun with carnival barkers, cheese curds, and two-headed cows. But fair season means big savings at Radco, like tonneau starting at just $2.79 and WeatherTech products at the lowest price guaranteed. Thousands of accessories in stock and ready to install. Find Metro and St. Cloud locations or shop online at radco.com. Radco, your truck, your way.
Radco, your truck accessories pro. In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
There will come a time in your life when you must mourn the loss of a loved one, but it is also a time to celebrate a life. This is John McCreevy Seitz from Washburn McCreevy Funeral Chapels, and we are here to guide you through this difficult time. Whether your wishes are for cremation or traditional services, we will work with your family with care and compassion to ensure all your specific needs are met. This is a promise from our family to yours. For more information, call or visit us at washburnmccreevy.com. That's washburnmccreevy.com.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition Smart Bed, plus special financing ends Monday. See store for details.
Summer means road construction in Minnesota. If you're behind the wheel, work zone safety is part of your job too. Slow down in work zones. Remember, slower speeds save lives. Put away distractions and keep your eyes focused on the road. Move over when you can to give crews more room to work. When we all work together, everyone gets home safely. This message brought to you by the Minnesota Department of Transportation, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
With quick, hot savings from Quick Trip, you'll find smoking hot deals throughout the store. Right now, our stores have gone bananas. They're just 29 cents per pound. Yeah, 29 cents per pound. Up to 10 pounds. Now, that's some appealing savings. Sorry. But think about it. Banana splits, banana muffins, banana cream pie, banana pudding. Bananas for days. The possibilities are endless. Quick Trip. Go bananas. We got you covered.
Arthur's summer tax-free wedding band event is here. It's the biggest collection of wedding bands in the state and great options for every budget.
Now back to the 651 Carpets Plus, home of the Next Day Install Studios on The Fan.
Welcome back to Treasure Island Resort and Casino. It's Fantasy Football Weekly. Oh, we're having fun. This is a segment we call the Peacock-off, where we hopefully will get to do some peacocking later in the season with these bold predictions way outside of the norm. We begin with Brian Johnson. What are you peacocking off about?
Does anyone remember Odell Beckham Jr.?
The undead corpse.
Hey, he's
Odell. How about Old Dell?
He's old.
Yeah,
He's 30, but I think he's still got some gas in the tank. I think Odell will be a top 24 wide receiver this year. Last we saw Beckham on a football field was 2 Super Bowls ago, but he was on his way to a huge game. Already had 2 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Then he tore his Achilles around halftime. He took last year off, but now he's with the Ravens. And again, we're excited about the new offensive coordinator there, Todd, don't call me Art Monken.
Yes.
Baltimore's pass play percentage should increase by leaps and bounds. There is competition for targets, primarily Mark Andrews is the main concern, but he's a tight end. Rashad Bateman is off the PUP list, but he's struggled to stay healthy. Zay Flowers, a rookie who's got some steam around him, but we'll see what we got there. I don't know, Beckham, one of the top 3 wide receivers we've seen this century. So at wide receiver 51, why not roll the dice on him? He's the last wide receiver getting drafted, at least among the top 3 in Baltimore. I think he resurrects his career. He's been practicing every day in training camp.
He can actually practice?
Veterans don't practice every day, but Beckham is. He's motivated, and he looks spry.
Yeah.
So top 24 wide receiver season for
how many yards did he have last year?
Like yards of what?
Yeah, I'm talking.
I said he took the season off.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, great.
Calvin Ridley took last year off, and everyone's pretty excited about Calvin Ridley. So
well, that's true. He's also
1 year younger than Odell Beckham.
Oh,
yes.
okay. All right. Okay.
So there we go.
Matt, what is your Peacock-off?
It kind of sucks because I have some of the people I play in leagues with here at Treasure Island Casino right now.
In the building right now.
I kind of hate this.
Yes.
Garrett Wilson finishes the season as the #1 wide receiver in the league.
Ooh.
It's
bold. Is it because you love Aaron Rodgers?
That might be it. Let's hear what everybody thinks about my love for Aaron Rodgers. Oh, a low grumble.
Yeah.
From week 12 on, 8 or more targets in 6 of the last 7 games for Garrett Wilson. 6 or more receptions in 3 of those games, but only 2 touchdowns in those final 7 games. They both happened in week 12 against the Bears, and he only had 4 total touchdowns last year. So people make the mistake of replaying last year, and they're like, oh, Garrett Wilson's not a touchdown guy. He only scored in 2 games.
Right.
That was with Mike White and Zach Wilson, and this is Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers has a top wide receiver with great touchdown totals in most of the last few years. Christian Watson had 7 receiving scores, and all came in week 10 or later last year after they developed a little bit of a rapport. Devontae Adams had 5 years of double-digit touchdowns in 6 years of being a full-time starter in Green Bay. And I think that Rodgers has a little bit of the prove-it mode in him this year. I don't know how Garrett Wilson can finish outside the top 3, but I'll put him at #1.
#1 wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. All right, we'll see how that goes. My Peacock-off is, and if you look at my roster that's up on the screens right now, you can see this coming. Tank Bigsby is going to score more fantasy points than Travis Etienne. Jaguars guy is right here. We'll see if he agrees with me or not. I'll tell you why. Travis Etienne is a guy who's not very good at the goal line. He was the starter all last year. He had 3 touchdowns from inside the 5. That's it. He's not a very good pass catcher, averaging just 2 receptions per game. He's going to be a guy who's going to roll up some yards, but Tank Bigsby is better built for the goal line. He might be a more explosive runner, period, and he's a better receiver. I don't know at what point this thing could flip entirely to Tank Bigsby getting the #1 role, but I think he's going to get the fantasy points, the touchdowns, the receptions. That's what's going to get Tank Bigsby ahead of Travis Etienne.
So draft Tank Bigsby and then charge for it later.
Oh,
no.
I like it. By the way, I missed my chance. We've got new Tank sounds. Oh, you're going to hear a lot of this year. You're going to hear the Tank sound a lot.
You have
very excited about that.
So much in your tank bank.
Oh, I like it. Hey, maybe you'd like to win tickets to some of the concerts that are coming here to Treasure Island Resort and Casino, like Stained, Trampled by Turtle. We love Trampled by Turtles.
Yes.
They love this station. Yeah. Hi, Dave. Nick Swartzen coming to town. Hilarious. We love Nick Swartzen. Here's how you can do that. Post on Twitter using the hashtag KFANFFTC. That'd be Fantasy Football Training Camp. KFANFFTC. And tag in Treasure Island Casino, at TI Casino, for a chance to win some of these prizes, including these tickets, a stay-and-play package, and our $1,000 grand prize.
Just giving away $1,000.
So post on Twitter again using the hashtag KFANFFTC and tag TI Casino as well. I recommend including a photo of me touching Matt. And activating.
Do you guys want to get your cameras ready? You ready?
You might want to.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There's the howl button. Thank you very much. I love that we have a howl button. Okay, my Peacock-off. Oh, no, we already just did mine. Let's go back to Brian. You've got one more Peacock-off for us.
All right, when we were talking about who you should draft in the previous segment, I was the one guy cheering for Gerald Everett because
yes, you were.
I believe he's going to finish this year as a top 8 tight end. He's going to outperform tight ends getting drafted before him like Chigo Okonkwo, Tyler Higbee, Dalton Schultz, Greg Dulcich, Dalton Kincaid, Pat Freiermuth, David Njoku, Evan Engram. Gerald Everett will have a better season than all those tight ends. He had career highs in targets, receptions, and receiving yards last year. It came on strong towards the end of the season. 6 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown against the Jaguars in the playoffs. Last season, Everett was one of 9 tight ends with 300-plus yards after the catch, one of 8 tight ends with at least 100 yards after contact, and that's just scratching the surface for what Everett can do. We talked about the dink and dunk offense is no more in L.A. Now with new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, Everett should thrive. Dallas tight ends were top 8 in catches in each of the last 2 seasons under Kellen Moore. So at tight end 18 right now, Gerald Everett going way too late. Top 8 tight end this year.
I'm kind of with you on that. I liked him enough to have him in my queue, but the audience would not give him to you. Well, give him to me. So they blocked him.
Well, we should have done that after this segment.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe your rationale right there would have changed.
We can revert this draft, though. We have that power.
You're actually right. I can back it up. All right, Matt, what is your Peacock-off? Your second of 2.
I've got Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard for over 2,000 scrimmage yards this season.
Wow. Okay.
If he does that, by the way, he's probably the #1 running back as well.
Yes.
First off, only one running back had 2,000 scrimmage yards last year. That was the top back in the league. That was Josh Jacobs. Pollard had almost 1,400 yards last season, and he's got a couple other things going for him this year. He's playing out this year on the franchise tag, so it's a contract year, and they could just DeMarco Murray him in Dallas, run him into the ground. Ezekiel Elliott is gone, as are his 248 touches and about 950 total yards. The backups don't look like viable contributors, as Charch mentioned earlier, and Mike McCarthy fired Kellen Moore because he scored too fast and didn't run the ball enough.
Right.
So you don't think that Mike McCarthy, who's now calling the plays, isn't going to run that ball all day long? It's going to be Tony Pollard getting so many touches this year.
We're going to get a lot of Tony Pollard coming for sure. All the way up to 2,000 yards. I don't know. That's a big stretch. He's never been a workhorse before. Wait a minute.
Nay. No, don't touch me for that. No.
Are you guys going to bring the horse up to your room too?
No. As a matter of fact, that's one we can give a firm answer on.
Okay.
Our final Peacock-off is for me, and it involves the player you just selected for me, audience. Sam Howell is going to finish as a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
I'm right here, Charch.
Well done. Here's why. First, he's got all the traits that you want out of a fantasy quarterback. He's got mobility. Now, he's not Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, but he's in that next tier of mobile quarterback. And in the one start that he had last year, they gave him a bunch of designed runs. And I think that's going to continue this season with the designed runs. The mobility's there. The arm strength is there. We want deep downfield passers. Why did Justin Herbert, the Air Bear, have such a bad season? Because they gave him dink and dunk stuff. We want strong arm downfield passers. That's Sam Howell. And then lastly, the big upgraded offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy should be a lot better than the coordinators they've had in the past. I think they get better. He knows how to develop young quarterback talent. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Not saying Eric
Bieniemy had
gets all the credit.
There.
But he played a role
not
in this.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yes,
Just,
he played a role in this. So, yes, Eric, that was the reason. Sam Howell, and this all comes together. And at the end of the day, the rushing, the passing, some decent receiving targets. Jahan Dotson's going to have a nice season. There's reasons to like Sam Howell, top 10 quarterback.
It's a bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction, as a matter of fact.
It's
absolutely.
the boldest.
The boldest of the predictions, I believe. We could take a break early.
You know, I got to mention to everybody out in the audience and even people who are listening at home, the League Safe Locks contest that we have on the League Safe app. We're giving away $500 today. It's free to play. All you got to do is download the League Safe app, click games, and you're in there. And it has to do with what's coming up next segment, 3 tough questions.
3 tough questions.
So you got to get in now because the game locks in about 10 minutes.
And a reminder for those of you that are here, post on Twitter using, well, or X, as it's now called.
It's still
using
Twitter.
the hashtag KFANFFTC, FF Fantasy Football Training Camp. Tag TA Casino for a chance to win great prizes, including tickets to Stain, Trampled by Turtles, Nick Swardson, and more. When we come back, 3 tough questions. You get to play along, audience. See who, if anybody here can go 3-0 as Fantasy Football Weekly continues from Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Put the pedal to the metal for Treasure Island Resort and Casinos up to $330,000 full throttle giveaway. August 25th, 26th, and 27th, you could win cash, free slot play, or a 2023 Ford Mustang. Earn entries now through August 27th by playing slots, table games, or bingo with your Island Passport Club card. Go all in on winning a brand new Ford Mustang, only at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Destination fun.
Packing for your summer road trip? Leave the travel guide at home and bring the Autio app along for the ride. Autio brings any drive to life with fascinating stories about the places you go, all narrated by expert storytellers. Browse through Autio's more than 10,000 fascinating location-based tales to inspire your travel itinerary and discover unique destinations along the way. Wherever summer takes you, make your next drive an adventure with Autio, the perfect companion for your next road trip. Learn more at autio.com.
Hello, this is Tom Lyons, host of today'sbusinessradio.com, inviting you to tune in for our executive summaries weekday afternoons on Barrero right after the top 5 at 5. You'll learn great business insights from Twin Cities businesses, MHS Insurance, and Phelan Partners Limited.
It's Fireside Hearth & Home's State Fair sale, featuring our best deals of the year. Right now, receive a free Stone fire table when you purchase a gas insert or gas fireplace with installation, only through August 23rd. It's the perfect time to complete your fireplace project with up to $1,200 off your purchase during Fireside State Fair sale. Our free fire table offer ends soon, so don't delay. Visit fireside.com to learn more.
Cragun's Legacy Courses invites you to play the newest premier golf facility in Minnesota, featuring 36 remastered holes, the Dutch 18 and Lehman 18. PGA Tour champion Tom Lehman has designed and renovated the entire 900-acre property, featuring white sand bunkers, rolling bent grass fairways, and expansive green complexes. Home of the PGA Tour Canada in August. This is your chance to play where the pros play. To make a tee time of Book Your Stay and Play package, visit Craguns.com.
A DWI will cost you about $10,000 and possibly so much more. That's a sobering reality. Drive sober. Drive smart.
Extra enforcement now on Minnesota roads. A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Hey, it's Guardsy. The best value in live TV and streaming is with Xfinity Internet and Now TV. It's the best network for watching all the entertainment you love without missing a beat, including live TV and sports, all your favorite shows and movies on a network made for streaming. Watch what you want when you want. All you have to do is sit back and enjoy. Get way more into what you're into. Stream on the next generation Xfinity 10G network. Switch today to get a great deal on a great deal of entertainment. And speaking of great deals, now through September 6th, get 1.2 gig internet on the 10G network for just $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. Plus, there's no annual contract, and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Add Now TV with Peacock Premium, a $5.99 a month value, included at no extra cost for just $20 a month. Switch today. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Now TV requires Xfinity Internet. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Guys, why get Viagra, a.k.a. sildenafil, through Roman? Roman's 100% online. You'll only be prescribed genuine medication. Roman offers free discreet shipping. For 20% off your entire first order, go to ro.co/reason. ro.co/reason.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching a kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
This hour of KFAN is sponsored by the Hair Restoration Institute.
From the Your Boat Club Weather Center.
This report is sponsored by Hammermade.
Fan forecast.
Go get outside. It's beautiful, sunny all day, a high 81.
It's hammer time, and that time means replenishing your style. It's Hammermade, and my closet is full of said style. Long sleeves, short sleeves, denim, and the new arrivals are stylish, sleek, funky, and fun. Stop by Hammermade at the Galleria, Mall of America, Ridgedale, or Terminal 1 at the airport. Become a Hammermade VIP and save money at hammermade.com.
We broadcast from the 651 Carpets Plus, home of the Next Day Install Studios. FM 100.3, KFXN, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Fan.
Treasure Island Resort and Casino. We've got a fantastic crowd here. Thank you so much. Fantasy draft season's the best. We love it. So much fun.
Yeah.
We've got a winner of our Nick Swartzen tickets.
What?
Let me mention, that would be Cole Sifferlin. You want to head over here for redemption on those tickets to this side of the stage. If you want to participate and try to get tickets to some of the other events that are happening, including Stained and Trampled by Turtles, post on Twitter using the hashtag KFANFFTC and tag TI Casino for a chance to win those prizes and a $1,000 grand prize. Holy cow.
Are we announcing that on the show, too?
Well, I hope so.
Gosh.
Are we announcing that on the show, too? I don't know. I hope we are.
Sounds
that would be
fun.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It is time for a game we like to call 3 Tough Questions. We tend to start with this guy right here.
Tough question number 1.
Jonathan Taylor's ADP, his average draft position, has dropped from the middle of the first round to the middle of the third round. Are you buying the dip? Brian Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going to buy. Last year, Taylor was the consensus #1 overall pick in most formats. We all know how that went for him and the Colts last year, a total disaster. So earlier this offseason, he had slipped to the late first round, early second round pick. And the only reason he's fallen this far are these, holdout concerns. And I think he plays. And if he does play, it's probably on a short-term deal, his final year with the Colts. So they're just going to run him into the ground. It's a little nerve-wracking drafting him right now. But I do think he signs. And once he does, Yahtzee, that's going to pay off big time.
Matt, Jonathan Taylor's ADP has dropped from the middle of the first round to the middle of the third round. Are you buying the dip?
Yeah, I agree with Brian. This is solely a question of, do you think he's playing football in week 1? If you think he's going to play football in week 1, you have to buy the dip. And I have to think he is, because there's nobody clamoring to trade high-value picks and then also pay him a huge contract. The league just said, no, we don't do that with running backs anymore.
Correct.
So I think he'll have to come back. He'll have to play out his deal. And if so, they'll use him a lot. So he's well worth buying the dip right now.
Those are the correct correct answer. You should be playing along at home, by the way. Yes, you should, and the audience here. Yes, we are buying the dip on Jonathan Taylor. As mentioned earlier in the show, only one running back, and maybe any players, ever actually gone through with the holdout for the season. That was Le'Veon Bell. Huge mistake. Jonathan Taylor's got no leverage, none whatsoever. When it comes time to bypass what will end up being like $250,000 checks every week, no chance he's not there. Yeah. Or very low chance. We are buying on Jonathan Taylor. But let me ask this. What if you're in a guillotine league? You're just trying to survive through the first month of the season. Then what? Are you still buying?
Brian, what do you think?
What do you think?
It's a little dicier, but you'd have to slide a little further. Again, he's not going to last the early third round because that's what, pick 40.
Yeah.
But if he's in that
second round range,
mid-20 range, yeah, I'll still buy and take a chance. And hey, if he doesn't play, I'll just join another guillotine league.
I like you're going with that. The multiple guillotine league approach.
Hey, Charch,
we
by the way,
approve of that here.
What's your favorite dip?
7-layer. Well, thank you for asking.
Yeah,
I love 7-layer dip.
All right, what's your favorite layer?
Yeah, what's your favorite layer?
The guac layer.
Oh, that's the most expensive layer.
Yes. Thank you for asking. I did not expect to be quizzed on. Is that one of the 3 tough questions?
It is.
What's the best layer in a 7-layer dip?
Chili cheese dip. That's pretty good.
Oh, we love the chili cheese dip. That was a
Tough
staple.
question number 2.
Okay, by the way, in the audience, how many people still alive through one question? How many of you are 1-0 in the audience?
That's
All
a lot of
so
hands.
It's about half.
Pretty good.
Okay. Let's go to question number 2. J.K. Dobbins' average draft position has dropped from the 3rd round to the 5th round. Are you buying on that dip? We begin this time with Matt.
Yeah, I like buffalo chicken dip, too. That's pretty good.
All right.
That
is good.
People will cite Dobbins' last 5 games of 2022 and say that he was pretty good in those games. Well, 3 of them, yes, he was pretty good in those. 2 of them, he came up with 5.9 PPR points and 9.3 PPR points, and those tank your week and not like Tank Bigsby.
No.
How
about like this tank?
I don't know. We need a bad tank, too. That's not a good tank. He's holding out. I'm not sure if he's actually good anymore, and he's definitely in a timeshare with Gus Edwards, and now Melvin Gordon's there. And by the way, his quarterback is also a running back, so I will not buy that J.K. Dobbins dip.
All right. Brian.
Yeah, I'm not buying it either. I'm a little concerned with this holdout, and there was rumors he signs a long-term deal. I like him less if he signs a long-term deal. I'd like him to sign the short-term deal where they just use and abuse him. But Baltimore is going to be a lot more pass-friendly. They're not going to run as much. That could open up more targets for running backs. But again, there's a lot of options in the pass game in Baltimore, and there are some running backs that I like a little more than Dobbins, going a little later, that seems safer, and David Montgomery, James Conner, James Cook, Isaiah Pacheco. So I was in on Dobbins earlier, but even though the price is suppressed, I'm out as of right now.
The correct answer is, and I already tipped my hand on this because I showed you my team with J.K. Dobbins on it earlier.
Well, that's why I definitely am not buying.
Now, that's right. Now, granted, I've been wrong on J.K. Dobbins in consecutive years.
Well, and you
so
also
take it with a grain
you also
of salt.
put insurance on it and drafted Gus Edwards.
But
too.
that's part of the beauty of it is I can get Gus Edwards late, cheap, and I've got the Baltimore running back situation squared away no matter what. But again, nobody holds out. And also, J.K. Dobbins is really, really good. It's just we don't remember that because he missed last year, and that last year was a disaster, and then he blew out his ACL the year before that. We hope and assume that he's still really good like he was before that. And if they didn't believe it, I think they'd have brought in more help at running back. So I love buying players that other people are hesitant on. We're buying the dip on this one as well. How many people are 2-0? All right, we're down to about a quarter of the room.
Dwindling.
We'll see if we can get a 3-0.
Tough question number 3.
Give me a player who is currently far away from the first round who will be a first rounder next year. There is one perfect answer for this. I'm looking for a player.
Wait, what?
Who's not going...
Are you saying that you have the right answer already?
I do, as a matter of fact, have the right answer. But I will say I've got a backup acceptable answer. There is the perfect answer and an acceptable answer. So you've got 2 options. These players have to have an average draft position of at least the 4th round or later. We begin with Brian.
First off, spinach artichoke dip.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah.
No. It's artichoke.
And
love of God.
So
wait, artichoke but no spinach?
The spinach is better than the artichoke part, in my opinion.
All right.
They're a perfect marriage.
Too creamy.
Whatever.
Continue.
Sam Howell, is that the right answer? No, I'm not going to go Sam Howell.
Who's going to be a first rounder?
I know.
Who is going to be a first rounder next year?
I'm going.
That's your artichoke dip right there.
That's just rude.
Sense. I'm going Christian Watson, who's going off the board as wide receiver 21 in the 4th round. I think he's legit. His career almost started with a huge bang, dropped a 70-yard touchdown pass on the first Packers offensive play of the season against the Vikings. I'm sure a lot of people remember that in here, whether they were rooting for or against that. He had a tough stretch from weeks 2 through 9, missed a few games with a concussion, didn't post any really strong numbers. But starting in week 10, he scored 8 touchdowns in 5 games. That was not a fluke. He is legit. I know Aaron Rodgers is gone, but I'm a believer in Jordan Love, and I think Christian Watson's in for a double-digit touchdown season, and we'll see him going in the late first round of drafts next year.
All right. Matt, what is one player currently far from a first-rounder who will be a first-rounder next year?
I went even further away. I went for a 7th-round guy that I think can make a huge leap this year.
Okay.
End of the 7th, George Pickens, I think, is that guy. Everyone's touting the Deontay Johnson positive touchdown regression. But what if it's just Pickens as the #1 guy there? He's built more like a guy who catches touchdowns. He's 6'3", over 200 pounds. Plus, he actually did it 4 times last year where Deontay Johnson didn't. And we think Kenny Pickett will improve based on a better offensive line.
I hope so.
I think Pickens is the main beneficiary here. I think he's poised to take over as the #1 wide receiver in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's had some good luck with some of those guys in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if Pickens is a first-rounder next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think Deontay Johnson is going to regress with the touchdowns, and that means, the regression will bring him back. Positive regression. Yeah. He'll actually score a touchdown next year, and he's being taken ahead of George Pickens. That's crazy. We know what Deontay Johnson's all about, and it's like 4 yards per catch.
Yep.
That doesn't help fantasy owners at all.
No.
I like your angle, but you're wrong.
Oh. Boo.
First, I'm going to give you the acceptable answer, then I'm going to give you the right answer of a player who is currently far away from a first-rounder who will be a first-rounder next year. Anthony Richardson. We've seen quarterbacks starting to go in the first round now in a way that they haven't in the past. We're seeing running backs move out of the first round. We've got, right now, 3 quarterbacks going in first rounds of drafts.
Now, this is the acceptable answer, but not the right answer?
Yes, this is an acceptable answer for those that are trying to go 3-0 and scoring here live at Treasure Island. The rushing quarter, if it all comes together this season, maybe it's December, maybe it's November, it's Thanksgiving after, and it starts to click for him, and people are starting to see that he's going to give you the same upside that you're getting out of Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields, then I could see him going in the first round next year.
I know the answer. Can I take a guess?
Yes.
No? Jahan Dotson.
No, but I like that answer, too.
I know
him, and I'm going to talk about him later.
I know the
correct answer and the perfect answer to the player currently far from a first-rounder who will be a first-rounder next year is Houston running back Dameon Pierce. Yeah, baby. Oh, we love Dameon Pierce. Quietly very good last year. He was a top 10 Pro Football Focus running back. He was top 10 in yards after contact among players at least 100 carries. He got game scripted out of a lot of Texans losses by the bad coaching staff there. This Houston team's going to be a lot better this year, but the big difference is this coming season, Dameon Pierce is going to be catching passes in a way that he did not last year because, again, they were morons on that coaching staff, Lovie Smith. Now, the new coaching staff is led by offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, who is part of a 49ers coaching staff that threw to runners 7 times per game. He's the pass-catching back on that team. If they're going to throw to him 7 times, he's going to catch 5. He could be sitting on a 50-catch season. He could be sitting in a 60-catch season, maybe even more. And his touchdown numbers were weirdly low last year. I think just the 5 rushing touchdowns, but he's the goal line guy. He's built for it. They're going to have way more opportunities. Another positive touchdown regression coming. Dameon Pierce is going to be a first-rounder next season.
It wasn't weird that anyone on the Texans didn't score a lot of touchdowns last year.
Well, that's last year. Yeah, there were more players scoring touchdowns.
That will change.
All
I'm
right.
with you.
It's an honesty check. Who went 3-0? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
About a dozen
now,
or so.
Do you think those people are liars? Yes. Matt, do you want to do anything for the people who went 3-0?
I mean, we have a way to prove it. They can come up and show me the League Safe app and the game that they were playing today, and I got a couple of hats to give away. We'll do that at the break, though.
All right, that sounds good. A reminder, you can post on Twitter using the hashtag KFANFFTC and tagging TI Casino for a chance to win some great prizes, including Trampled by Turtles tickets and Stained. I'm not a big Stained guy, but I love Trampled by Turtles. I own some vinyl.
Can I give a shout out to a listener in the crowd? I was impressed by his quick story. Billy out there had a vasectomy yesterday. And he was
Billy!
missing. Stand up, Billy.
Nice. Well, no, he can't stand up. All right, Billy. Well done.
He's actually sitting on an ice pack.
Gingerly right now.
Sitting on an ice pack, for sure.
I like that. Well done, my man.
Billy's got to get a coin or something.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive. When we come back, it's finally time for everybody's favorite segment of the preseason, the reach around.
Very
exciting.
So appropriate after the vasectomy.
really, it's going to be a while for Billy, I think. These are players that you're going to want to reach one round early upon, and we'll tell you who are the players in each round that we think that you should, upon whom you should reach. You'll want to stay tuned. Fantasy Football Weekly live from Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Put the pedal to the metal for Treasure Island Resort and Casinos up to $330,000 full throttle giveaway. August 25th, 26th, and 27th, you could win cash, free slot play, or a 2023 Ford Mustang. Earn entries now through August 27th by playing slots, table games, or bingo with your Island Passport Club card. Go all in on winning a brand new Ford Mustang, only at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Destination fun.
Podcasting and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Rosie here. Every year, Car and Driver magazine tests hundreds of vehicles and picks the 10 best. It's called the Car and Driver 10 Best List. And Honda is the only company that's made the list every single year. This year, the list includes the CR-V and Civic. Plus, the Honda Accord made the list a record-setting 37th time. That's more times than any other vehicle. So to see what makes Honda the best year after year, see your Greater Twin Cities Honda dealer for a test drive today.
Are you single and looking? Well, love could find you at a baseball game. There you are rooting for your home team when a beautiful woman asks if you're in her seat. Well, there's been a mix-up, so you get moved together to a private box and fall madly in love just as your team wins the World Series. Or you could call It's Just Lunch. Their dating experts will get you out on some real dates for some real fun, real fast. It's Just Lunch. The smarter way to date.
It's justlunchtwincities.com or call 612-355-2727 to learn more.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. See store for details.
Beer Fest, Beer Fest, Beer Fest. Saturday, August 12th is Canterbury Park's annual Beer Fest. Sample hundreds of unique craft beers while enjoying the excitement of live racing. Beer Fest at Canterbury Park, Saturday, August 12th. CanterburyPark.com for details.
As long as I can remember, I've had issues breathing through my nose. Since the procedure, I breathe through my nose. I sleep through the night. I don't wake up with headaches. Just get it checked out. It's 100% worth it.
Results may vary.
I'm Dan Barrero, and I'm here with Joe Friedberg to talk about Smart Start MN. What do people need to know about the most serious effects of a DWI?
I've been a lawyer for a long time and tried hundreds of cases. I've known a lot of people who've lost their license and can't drive because of a DWI. You will lose your driver's license even before you've been found guilty. You need to drive. You have to drive.
Joe, what is an ignition interlock, and why is it important for people charged with DWI?
Smart Start MN has technology that's state approved, and the state will give them their license back. Smart Start MN can install a state-approved device in your car that will allow you to drive. The state has to let you drive.
How does someone know if they're eligible?
Go to smartstartmn.com and find out more about the program. Smart Start MN is the only locally owned and operated interlock company. Don't go with imitators. Go with the company that helped create this program.
smartstartmn.com. That's smartstartmn.com.
Vikings training camp presented by Omni Viking Lakes Hotel is happening now. Score the first look at your 2023 Minnesota Vikings on the field while making summer memories with family and friends at TCO Performance Center in Eagan. Join us this year for brand new family-friendly activities, autographs, photo opportunities, and more. Celebrate the return of football at the 2023 Vikings training camp. Visit Vikings.com/camp to score tickets and more information. That's Vikings.com/camp.
Staples presents a lesson in back-to-school savings. Your local Staples now accepts Amazon returns. So when you return your Amazon order at Staples, you receive a coupon for $10 off your next $30 Staples purchase. So you can save even more on top of huge back-to-school deals. Like right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and marble comp books are each just 50 cents. Staples gives you more ways to save even more. 50-cent offers limit 30 and end 8/26. Comp books in-store only. Pricing and limits may vary in-store and online. Amazon return offer in-store only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Mark Rosen. Thanks for podcasting all of our shows on the iHeartRadio app.
The Fan.
Treasure Island Resort and Casino. It is year number 29 of Fantasy Football Weekly. Yeah, we got to do something special for year 30. I don't know what it is yet, but we got to do something big.
Like a Vegas trip?
Oh, God, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Don't tempt me. Don't. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I just tempted you.
By the way, we're going to Vegas for the Vikings game in Las Vegas.
We are?
Yeah, well, I am. I don't know if you guys are going, but yeah, that's a thing that's happening.
I mean, I work for the station.
Oh,
they could bring me. Come on.
Yeah, maybe they will. That would be fun. This is one of the great segments in the history of Fantasy Football Weekly. I think it's the reach around. Basically, you get effectively like a sleeper in every round.
Ooh.
These are a player that we would take one round early in each round. Now, if you're here at Treasure Island, you get to see the players who are eligible to be taken. We start in round 2. I'm looking for players you would take that normally go in round 2 that you would take in round number 1. Let's begin with Brian.
I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is poised for
Yeah, you like that?
Wow, people are clapping for that.
Right.
That's
Clap
great.
for the Sun God. Rookie running back Jahmyr Gibbs and tight end Sam Laporta will certainly soak up some targets, but they'll also help soften coverage for Sun God, who has very little competition at wide receiver with Jameson Williams suspended for the first 6 games, leaving just Marvin Jones, Josh Reynolds, and Denzel Mims up on the depth chart. That's nasty. The best part about Amon-Ra, though, is he is so bitter about those 15 tight ends drafted before him that he has a 50% chance at a spite game every week. A spite game is when you play a team who drafted someone at the same position instead of you. So he's got an axe to grind.
He's memorized the names of the schools and the order of every wide receiver that was taken before him.
I think he mumbles them in his sleep, to be honest with you. So
He might.
Love Amon-Ra this year.
Matt, who is your second-round player you would take in the first round?
I mean, you heard my Peacock-off. It's Garrett Wilson. He's on that list.
Well, you love Tony Pollard. You told me he was going to be the highest-scoring running back.
Well, I said Garrett Wilson would be the highest-scoring wide receiver.
Going with him.
You could go Tony Pollard too. I'll take 2. I'll give 2 guys a reach around.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I don't think that's how fantasy football works.
Wait.
You don't get 2 players.
I'm going with Jalen Hurts
Okay.
as the player I would take in the first round that normally would go in the second round. Last year, just as a rusher. So taking away all of his passing, he would have been running back 12. That's like Najee Harris. Then as a passer, taking away all of his running, Jalen Hurts would have been quarterback 13. That's Aaron Rodgers. Combining them together, I'm getting a free player, a free starting player when I get Jalen Hurts. Not counting a meaningless Week 18 game, he never went below 18 PPR fantasy points in any game. And the point of that being, he just never gives you the dud game because either the legs are going to kick in or the arm is going to kick in, one or the other. That's really critical. And he's surrounded by receiving talent, the league's best offensive line. He's room to get better as a passer. Jalen Hurts is my reach-around player in the second round.
Dan Arnold is there now, of course.
Dan Arnold, that's catapulting.
Brian would probably reach around for Dan Arnold in the first.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's possible. Let's go to the round 3 player you would reach a round for in round 2. This time we go to Matt.
I'm going to go with the guy who's on the board here, Ramondre Stevenson.
That's my group right here.
I'm getting applause now. He's one of about 12 backs who has a solid shot at getting 300 touches this season, and you can't find that much later. So let's go for it.
All right. Brian, who is your reach-around player from the third round you would take in the second?
Yeah, Ramondre is the only answer. One of 15 running backs to top 1,000 rushing yards last year. He did it on just 210 carries. He was second in yards after contact per attempt. He was fourth in catches among running backs. He was on the field for the highest percentage of third down plays among all running backs, 80%. New England is yet to sign one of these free agent running backs floating around, but I wouldn't really care if they did. Ramondre Stevenson. I think we'll have a clean sweep here. Right, Charge?
That is correct. Ramondre Stevenson. Let me just mention the dude can catch. At least 50 targets last year. He had a Pro Football Focus ranking of 9th among running backs as a receiver. And I just don't think most people think of Ramondre Stevenson that way. By the way, he also finished 3rd in yards after contact at almost 4 yards after contact. Dude is a stud. I love Ramondre Stevenson. And they run the ball out. Belichick's always been, even with in the Tom Brady era, they ran the ball a ton. The last 3 years, New England's rushing play percentage ranked 2nd, 7th, and 14th. The last 3 years, they run the ball in New England when they can. Ramondre Stevenson. That's a clean sweep. I think it's the only one we're going to get. Let's go to round 4. Which player with a round 4 ADP would you take in round 3? I believe it is Matt up first for this one.
It can be me. I'm taking TJ.
Was I wrong? No, it's Brian. Brian's up first.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I already started.
Right,
I'm taking TJ
ahead.
Hawkinson.
Right.
Assuming I didn't get Kelsey in the first round, Hawkinson's my number 2 tight end this year. To me, the high-end tier really ends with him, and I want to get one of those elite tight ends this year and make sure that I've got my roster set.
Okay. Brian, which 4th round player are you reaching around into the 3rd for?
Well, I'm staring at the Air Bear graphic.
Yeah, that is the Air Bear, by the way. If you didn't know what the Air Bear looked like, now you do.
That's not why I chose him.
He's too cute for that vicious roar, though.
Really is.
He is adorable. But Herbert will be a monster this year. Grossly misused last year. His ADOT was among the lowest in the league. His average depth of target. He was also injured, suffered somewhat of a major chest injury. Played through it. But this is, all about offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, who we're going to rip on the Cowboys copiously throughout the season for failing to retain him. Just another donk move by Jerry Jones and his
you guys
of idiots.
You guys have used, with Kellen Moore, you've used dink, dunk, and donk now.
Well, he's a dork.
All-time donk. Over the last 4 seasons, though, under Kellen Moore, the Cowboys were 12th, 4th, 10th, and 2nd in passing yards per game. Dak missed some games during that stretch, so just so high on all of the Chargers this year under Kellen Moore. So I would reach around on the Air Bear.
Yeah, obviously you're both wrong because Dameon Pierce is in this round, and that's the obvious answer for reasons that I have already elucidated and will not spend more time on now. Dameon Pierce. Okay, which 5th round player would you take in the 4th round? I believe this time we're going to get back on sequence, Matt.
Oh, okay. I got Miles Sanders. I think people are really sleeping on him after the move to Carolina. Frank Reich has an incredible track record with running backs, too. Jonathan Taylor, obviously, had some big bell cow years with Frank Reich. I think they utilize him a ton, and I think people are just sleeping on him because they went, oh, he went from Philly to the team that had the first pick in the draft.
Brian, which 5th round player are you taking in the 4th?
Well, I said Christian Watson was going to be a first rounder next year, so that is my answer. I'm not going to go over why again.
I also had Miles Sanders, and just because Philadelphia had the league's most maddening collection of committee backs doesn't mean that that's going to follow over to Carolina. I do believe he's going to be a workhorse. You alluded to some of this, and heck, I mean, Philly just saved mileage on his legs. I mean, he's that much more fresh because he didn't get as much use as he probably should have in Philadelphia. They paid him good money, by the way. They're gonna need to use him, and Sanders can catch. Had a 50-catch season his rookie year. And then they just distributed the ball to others and, never really used them as much as they could have there.
Rookie quarterback, too. They're going to want to lean on Sanders to kind of help steer the offense.
Agreed. Miles Sanders, super safe selection. Love him in the guillotine format in particular.
So they're leaning on Sanders. They're sleeping on Sanders.
Yeah.
He must be real comfortable.
By the way, if you got a belt sander, don't do any of those things. Don't lean on the sander.
Definitely
sleep on
don't
the
sleep
sander.
on it,
No, very, very bad deal. By the way, 2 years ago, Frank Reich, the head coach for Carolina, gave Jonathan Taylor 370 touches.
That's a few.
That's a lot of touches. And if he does anything like that with Miles Sanders, it's going to be a tremendous value.
Sanders is going to die if he gets that many touches.
He might. He'd also die if he fell asleep on a belt sander.
It's true.
Let's go to the round 6 player you would take in the 5th round. We begin with Brian for this one.
Going to reach around on Christian Kirk, who finished as wide receiver 11 in PPR last year, averaged 65 yards per game on a target share north of 23%. Had a very safe floor with a very high ceiling. Some weeks had a lot of spike weeks. He was top 5 among wide receivers in red zone targets. Yeah. I know Calvin Ridley is in town now. Yes, Matt?
I have a question.
I don't have an answer.
Why is Kyle Pitts not the pick here?
Yeah, right, exactly.
What the heck is going on?
Look at that picture right there.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear your guys' moronic arguments. Earlier you said the biggest mistake you can do is look towards last year, or look at last year. And that's all you guys do about that. Hypocritical to the extreme.
Look at him, though. Look at this chiseled specimen that's right in front of you right there.
He'll be a first rounder next year, too.
Doesn't that just reach into your soul?
But he'll be a first rounder next year, but you won't take him in round 5?
I got that tattooed on my back. But no, I'm going Ridley.
Is that your tramp stamp? Is Kyle Pitts?
No, not full back tattoo.
Full back tattoo. Very nice.
All right, Christian Kirk, I'm done. You guys are rude. I can't wait till Kyle Pitts rubs this in your face.
Matt, which 6th round player are you taking in the 5th round?
I've got Kyle Pitts. No, I don't. James Conner. There's absolutely no one else to get touches in that backfield. Kyler is even probably out or not running for the foreseeable future. He's another player who has a chance at 300 touches if he can stay healthy. And really, he's kind of the last guy that you can get in your draft that has a legitimate shot at 300 touches.
Yeah, you got to love players that are playing on teams that aren't going to score a touchdown all year.
We got Salty Brian now.
Hey, I like this. We need this every week.
One Kyle Pitts and Salty Brian came in.
Yes. I thought I was pushing your buttons in this show, and as it turned out, I already told you how much I love Darren Waller. He's my tight end 3, going up the board at pick 70. We talk about it constantly on Fantasy Football Weekly. There's 6 great tight ends. Well, 6 reliable tight ends. 1 great tight end. 6 reliable tight ends. Get one of them. I like Darren Waller as the choice I would make here. And, you know, the Giants traded a lot for him. He gets the advantage of moving to a Brian Dable offense. And, yes, he's been injured. Doesn't mean he will be injured. And he's still a relatively young player. So we're going to go with Darren Waller for my choice here. Now, let's go to the next up, which is round 7. Which round 7 player would you take in round 6? Matt?
I've got Marquise Brown here. When DeAndre Hopkins was gone last year, 9 or more targets in 5 of 6 games for Marquise Brown. By the way, you got to hit that. 9 times.
They've got it down.
They got it down. So 9 or more targets in 5 of 6 games, and Hopkins gone all the time now because he's not on the team anymore. They're trying to replace that with Roadkill Moore, Greg Dortch, and Michael Wilson. Brown could see 180 targets this year.
That'd be a lot of targets.
It's a lot, but he could see them. It's right there.
All right, Brian, which round 7 player are you taking in round 6?
Going Mike Evans, who, first off, if you saw the Johnny Manziel documentary, Evans deserves, like, all the credit for Johnny Manziel's college career. They didn't mention him once. It was criminal.
Yeah, he bailed out so many bad Manziel passes, it was ridiculous.
He was a man among boys in college. But anyway, top 15 in PPR points per game over the last 4 years. He's had 1,000 plus yards.
100,000 yards.
That'd be a lot of yards.
No, that's how many yards Marquise Brown will probably have playing for the Cardinals. But,
yeah.
But my main take on Evans is I think he gets traded at some point this season. But even if not, bad quarterbacks can still produce numbers for good wide receivers, unless they're Marquise Brown and they're on the Cardinals. But I think a wide receiver 34, Evans is a great value, so I'll reach around on him.
I also had Mike Evans, and this is a guy who his entire career has been like a second-round pick. And sure, Tom Brady's gone. That's a big drop-off to Baker Mayfield. We can accept that. But the 7th round, that seems like a big drop. And yes, the touchdown totals were weirdly low last year, just the 5 touchdowns, and that was very frustrating for a lot of people. But again, he's one of the great touchdown-scoring wide receivers like ever. So presumably Mike Evans is going to get that back. And historically, Baker Mayfield's have been able to account for about 1.5 touchdowns per game. If he's going to throw 1.5 per game, isn't like half of those touchdowns going to go to Mike Evans? Going to count on like 0.7 per game, and that gets me to like a 12 touchdown season. I'm in on Mike Evans as well. Let's do this. Let's break our reach around in half. We'll take a break.
Well, do you want to do that for
real?
real?
Reach around at half?
Yeah.
That does sound grisly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. We'll rephrase that.
Okay.
Let's take a break. When we return to the reach around, we will go with the rest of the rounds through 13. And let me mention this. We have another winner to announce. That is, winner of our Stained tickets is here in the house, Corey Holst. Corey Holst, you get to go to Stained at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. It's Fantasy Football Weekly, year number 29, live, Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Put the pedal to the metal for Treasure Island Resort and Casinos up to $330,000 full throttle giveaway. August 25th, 26th, and 27th, you could win cash, free slot play, or a 2023 Ford Mustang. Earn entries now through August 27th by playing slots, table games, or bingo with your Island Passport Club card. Go all in on winning a brand new Ford Mustang, only at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Destination fun.
Capital One is a proud partner of the iHeartRadio Music Festival for the 7th year in a row, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Listen to Comeback Stories. I'm Darren Waller. You might know me as a tight end for the New York Giants, or some of you might know me from my story of struggling with and beating addiction to become a Pro Bowl tight end. With me, I have my friend and co-host, Donnie Starkins, who is a yoga instructor and a personal development coach. A man fully invested in seeing people reach their fullest potential. Catch us every week on Comeback Stories on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Guardsy. The best value in live TV and streaming is with Xfinity Internet and Now TV. It's the best network for watching all the entertainment you love without missing a beat, including live TV and sports, all your favorite shows and movies on a network made for streaming. Watch what you want, when you want. All you have to do is sit back and enjoy. Get way more into what you're into. Stream on the next generation Xfinity 10G network. Switch today to get a great deal on a great deal of entertainment. And speaking of great deals, now through September 6th, get 1.2 gig internet on the 10G network for just $25 a month for 2 years when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data. Plus, there's no annual contract, and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Add Now TV with Peacock Premium, a $5.99 a month value, included at no extra cost for just $20 a month. Switch today. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Now TV requires Xfinity Internet. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to Internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With the Autio app riding shotgun, every road trip is an adventure.
Autio is my traveling companion. It's educational, entertaining, funny. It makes the drive come to life.
The Autio app automatically plays you stories about the natural wonders, local legends, and fascinating histories outside your car window, with over 10,000 unique stories from coast to coast.
I've learned more about my hometown from the Autio app than I did growing up here.
Autio, the perfect companion for your next road trip. Learn more at autio.com.
As a small business owner, I can't afford to spend months looking for the talent I need. Well, I'm not really a small business owner. I'm a voice actor. But small business owners use Upwork to hire faster for less. Less money. Upwork is half the cost of most recruiters. Less time. Upwork is 10 times faster than traditional hiring methods. And less headaches. Upwork handles your paperwork and payroll for you. See for yourself how fast and easy it is to hire better talent with Upwork. Go to upwork.com/hire now to start your search. Upwork. This is how we work now.
Now at Menards. Save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Keep your home organized with Closet-Made Closet Solutions. They're perfect for storing clothes and hanging accessories. Find the closet solution that's right for you and save big money. Right now, get 11% off all Closet-Made Closet Kits. Good through August 13th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Cragun's Legacy Courses invites you to play the newest premier golf facility in Minnesota, featuring 36 remastered holes, the Dutch 18 and Lehman 18. PGA Tour champion Tom Lehman has designed and renovated the entire 900-acre property, featuring white sand bunkers, rolling bent grass fairways, and expansive green complexes. Home of the PGA Tour Canada in August. This is your chance to play where the pros play. To make a tee time of Book Your Stay and Play package, visit Craguns.com.
Coverage of Minnesota Vikings training camp continues this week on KFAN and KFAN.com. Minnesota's home for football is The Fan.
Fantasy Football Weekly, year number 29, live from Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Thank you so much for coming out, everybody. We love seeing the listeners face to face. We'll have another chance at the State Fair. Those shows start in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
right?
yeah.
2 weeks, State Fair. We'll do our usual State Fair live draft. I think that's the second of the two shows, like September 4th, I believe. Correct?
That's always fun.
That is fun. Let the listeners have their shot at it as well. Speaking of listeners that have a shot at something, we've got winners.
Winners.
For the Trampled by Turtles concert. You get free 2 reserved seats. That is Dan Rasmussen. You'll want to make your way up here. Dan, where's Dan? Dan, make your way up there. And then we've got a $1,000 grand prize winner.
Oh, wow. I know him.
You do?
Yeah.
You know this person?
Uh-huh.
Is this person here right now?
I think he is, yeah.
Oh, he's buying the first round.
He's buying the first round today.
Oh, I like the sound of that. And maybe the first round at the blackjack table.
Probably.
I would take that. Skip Newton, are you here? $1,000 right there, Skip. Make your way this direction. Thank you to TI for the Trampled by Turtles tickets and the $1,000 courtesy of KFAN. So cool. God, make $1,000 on this deal.
He's a thousandaire now.
Not bad. We're in the middle of the reach around. This is where we tell you a player we would reach 1 round early to draft. And it is currently did we do round 7 last time? I think we did.
We're on round 8 to round 7.
8 to round number 7. Brian, who is the player you would take in round 7?
I know I'm not the only one who loves Jahan Dotson this year, who led all rookie receivers in fantasy points during the final 5-week stretch of the regular season last year. Closed strong. You love to see that, especially from a rookie. He had 7 touchdowns on the season, which is very good for a player
for a rookie,
in his first year, especially considering he only played in 12 games. And Sam Howell, top 10 quarterback.
Top 10 quarterback. I hear he's going to be a top 10 quarterback.
So
yes.
Jahan Dotson, great value in the 8th round. So I would still reach around to get him in the 7th just to ensure that I have Dotson on my squad.
All right, Matt, who is the round 8 player you would take in round 7?
I've got Jackson Smith in Jigba here. By all accounts, he's been the best wide receiver at Seahawks camp, and I really want a piece of that passing offense this year, especially if he's impressing more than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And by the way, I think this whole stage is in agreement. Geno Smith is just a good quarterback in the NFL.
He is a good quarterback.
Let's get the #1 wide receiver in the draft this year and pair him up with Geno. This is going to be great.
I'm back. I also have Jahan Dotson, who I think is sitting on a breakout season. I already told you earlier, I love Sam Howell.
Is it Jahan? I say Jahan because I'm thinking of
Johan
Santana.
Santana. Yeah,
it's a soft J.
Jahan Dotson.
It's also Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Even if I'm wrong in the Sam Howell thing, Jacoby Brissett powered Amari Cooper to a top 10 fantasy season last year. So I feel like one way or another, there's going to be capable quarterbacking for Jahan Dotson.
I still can't believe that you're all over Sam Howell and saying it's possible Jacoby Brissett can play.
Well, if I'm wrong, it wouldn't be the first time in 29 years I've been wrong on a guy. Ryan Matthews. Let's go to round number 9. Which 9th rounder would you take in the 8th round, Matt?
Staying with rookies in Seattle, I got just Zach Charbonnet. The landing spot was a bit weird on draft day, but knowing that Pete Carroll loves to bell cow his backs, and that Kenneth Walker is already hurt. I like Zach Charbonnet to at least take over at some point during the season and provide some meaningful games for you.
Brian, which 9th round are you taking in the 8th round?
I'm bullish on the entire Broncos offense this year. I think they bounce back big time. And Cortland Sutton is one of the main guys I'm targeting. A Pro Bowler in 2019, tore up his knee in 2020, so he was slow to return in 2021. Last year, just a total disaster for the entire offense in Denver. But with Sean Payton as the head coach now and a very soft early season schedule with Matt, which Matt will highlight more after the show. I'm big on Sutton, who will be the primary red zone target. He's looks great in camp, down 10 pounds. Big bounce back here for Sutton.
At this time last year, everybody's favorite sleeper was Gabe Davis.
Sure.
He had come off that gigantic playoff run where he had the 5 touchdowns, 4-in-1 game, and he was so instrumental to their playoff run. And at this time last year, he's going off the board in round 4, Gabe Davis. Now his ADP is round 9. I'll take him in round 8. This seems like a great value. Remember last year. Why didn't it work out last year? Well, week 1, he suffered an ankle injury in week 1, and then he played hobbled the entire season, was never right on that ankle. Now he's healthy. He's in a contract year. And Stephon Diggs a week ago told reporters this is the breakout year for Gabe Davis. And who doesn't trust Stephon Diggs?
Everybody in this room.
Everybody in this room. But okay, all right, we're a little bit jaded here in Minnesota with Stephon Diggs. I get it. It's all going to come together in one of the league's best offenses for Gabe Davis. Let's go to the next round. It's round 10. Which 10th round are you taking in round 9? We go to Brian first.
We've mentioned him a lot in this show, and it's Geno Smith.
Great photo.
Thank you. 8th among quarterbacks in points per game last year, 5th in total points. We've mentioned that Seattle's added weapons via the draft. So as going off the board as quarterback 16, I'm not going to risk – that's way too late, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to risk waiting for him on ADP. I'll reach around on Geno.
All right, Matt, which 10th round are you taking in round 9?
I've got Anthony Richardson here. It's possible that Anthony Richardson just breaks fantasy football this year. He has the chance to be the greatest dual threat quarterback of all time, and he's a combine rat. His measurables were absolutely off the charts, and we want to definitely get Anthony Richardson in the 9th round here.
I already said Anthony Richardson was in play to be a first-rounder next year.
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely my selection here as well. Round 11. Which 11th rounder would you take in round number 10? This time, Matt starts.
I hated this group of players. I didn't want to pick any of them. I'd actually rather pick 2 guys from the round 12 scenario here. But I went with Dalton Kincaid, who's a rookie tight end in Buffalo. We're hoping the off chance that it happens that he's the only good rookie tight end ever.
So Kyle Pitts going over 1,000 yards as a rookie did not impress you.
No, Salty Brian.
No, it did not. Much like his 0 touchdowns.
He had one.
He had one
sorry.
in London.
Oh, that was it. He had the London touchdown, yes.
Colin McCockney loved it.
So 1,000 yards, bad.
This is for Drake London, too.
It's usually our Drake London, but you know, I need to press all the buttons I can.
You do.
I can't stop myself.
Dalton Kincaid, a part of a really great offense in Buffalo. He brings a total different dimension to that team, a big body over the middle. I think there's a chance that this is a great landing spot for him, and he thrives in year 1.
I've got a round 11 player that you see listed up there right now that has scored 30 touchdowns the last 3 years.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go or no?
Yeah, please go.
Okay, no worries.
My
I'll
apologies.
use your guy. He sounds good.
All right.
I'll be quick. I'm going to go back to Denver. Russell Wilson, I'm buying in on him in weeks 1 through 16 with Nathaniel Hackett as head coach. Just an 18% play action rate. Just a boring offense that didn't work. Hackett gets fired. Week 17 through 18, 34% play action rate for Russell Wilson. Had 2 top 10 finishes in those games. Denver has the 5th easiest strength of schedule for quarterbacks. And again, Sean Payton in town is going to open up things for that offense. I'm back in on Danger Russ.
Yeah, and the very easy early season schedule. Have I mentioned that there was a player on this list who had 30 touchdowns in 3 seasons?
I believe that you did.
And who is it? You got it, Adam Thielen. He's the go-to player now in Carolina, right? The veteran in the passing game with very little threats to his playing time. DJ Chark, Terrace Marshall. Jonathan Mingo's a rookie, promising, but you know, that's it.
You just say their names with
It's a disgust.
Yeah, just such disgust.
Harris, Marshall.
They're all, come on, Mingo's gonna be fine.
Rookie quarterback Bryce Young is gonna lean on his veteran receiver, who's gonna be in the right place, who's gonna catch the balls that are thrown to him. You know, if you're Bryce Young, you're making your first NFL starts, and you drop back to pass. I'm not gambling on Terrace Marshall being in the right place at the right time for the first time in his entire career.
Well, you don't want to throw to the bench. That's where Terrace Marshall is.
That's a good point.
Not a good idea.
That's a good point. Always an elite scoring option with Adam Thielen, right? And he's always been somebody you could count on to get red zone touchdowns, which I love. I think he posts numbers that are at least as good as last season when he finished as wide receiver 35, and right now he's going off the board as wide receiver 52. I mean, people apparently think that Adam Thielen is completely cooked. I think he's got a little tread left on the tire. Let's go to the next round. That would be round 12. Which round 12 player would you take in round 10? I believe Brian is up first.
Ooh, this one's for points, too.
One of the, this is for points for
yeah,
this game.
People are waiting.
Elite Save Lock points right here? Okay.
Hopefully they got the right answer. A guy I've been banging the drum for hard this offseason is Jacoby Myers, now with the Raiders.
Yeah.
His time with the Patriots.
I like that we're getting Jacoby Myers claps
I like
in here.
it,
That's
too.
awesome.
I think they just earned points. I think that's why they're
that is fine. That's probably
well, they had the right answer. Myers' time in New England will give him an edge in Vegas. He'll be familiar with their offensive scheme. Mick Lombardi served as the wide receiver coach in New England from 2020 through 2021 and is now the OC in Las Vegas. And Myers has always passed the eye test to me. Great receiver in an awful situation in New England.
Yeah.
6'2", soft hands, the 7th highest graded wide receiver via Pro Football Focus last year. Only played in 13 games last season. That includes the Minnesota Thanksgiving game where he was knocked out early. But he had a full season pace of 87 catches, 1,050 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And I think we see those kind of numbers if he stays healthy.
That was a very comprehensive breakdown of Jacoby Myers right there. Wow.
I did the extra effort for Jacoby.
Holy cow.
He's held Jacoby Myers' hands to know that they're soft. He moisturizes.
Supple. Very nice.
Yep.
All right, Matt, who is your round 12 player you take in round 11?
Jacoby Myers.
Oh,
that's it.
All right, that's it. Okay,
Yeah.
well, how are you going to add anything to that?
Nope, don't need to.
The correct answer, obviously, is Tank Bigsby. Yes, thank you very much.
Ooh, that one was for points, too.
Yeah, Tank Bigsby is the correct answer. Round 12 player you should take in round 11 for reasons I've already gone into great detail upon. And our final round. Which round 13 player should you take in round 12, Matt?
I've always liked the hack of getting a running back who's paired up with a running quarterback. So I've got Roschon Johnson here. Roschon might be the best one in Chicago. He only has to beat out Khalil Groundbear and Deonta Foreman. So I think Roschon, who a big fan is Thor Nystrom of Roschon Johnson, too.
He is a big fan.
I think he's going to be an absolute stud this year.
Yeah, and I'll mention Thor Nystrom is going to be joining the show as a recurring co-host beginning next week, I believe.
That's
so
right.
That is very exciting. And we'll have an opportunity to introduce Thor to our listening audience for those that are not familiar. Brian, are your final guy right here? Who you talking up?
I like Nico Suave Collins, the uncontested wide receiver one in Houston. Rough year last year with injuries and bad quarterback play. Just 39% of his targets were deemed catchable, the lowest rate among all wide receivers. That should change with C.J. Stroud under center. And as you mentioned earlier, Charch, new OC Bobby Slowick, an exciting addition. He was San Francisco's passing game coordinator the last 6 years. So I'm pretty high on Nico.
I had Nico as well, but I want to just spend a second on Romeo Doubs, who, much like this time last year, where everybody's like, hey, the best receiver in camp is Romeo Doubs guy. That's the same talk this year, and then he scores a touchdown on the Friday night game. Romeo Doubs is going to be a starter in that offense, and if Jordan Love, as mentioned earlier, big arm, if that comes together for Jordan Love, Romeo Doubs is going to be a bigger part of this passing offense, and it's not like there's a lot of veterans to go take balls away from him. We don't know what Christian Watson's going to do yet. So, yeah, I think Romeo Doubs is really interesting here, too.
There are no veterans there. They all went with Rodgers.
They all did go with Rodgers. They all got paid. Rodgers got everybody paid one last time, and good for him. Let's give out our sleepers. That's it for Reach Around.
That is.
Did you guys enjoy the Reach Around?
Of course.
All right.
Who doesn't?
They all feel satisfied.
Yes.
Yeah.
We satiate our audience here. Let's release our 3 sleepers for this week. Matt, would you like to go first?
Well, it's a guy I took in the reach around, actually, and I think it's Marquise Brown. Like I mentioned before, DeAndre Hopkins gone. He had a great career last year with Hopkins out, and I think that they just have to focus in on him because he's the only real professional wide receiver they have on that team, and they should be playing behind
a lot. The game script will point his direction.
It definitely will. So I got Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown. I think that's a very. I've taken him in. I feel so strongly about him being safe. I've taken him in many Guillotine League drafts so far. Brian, who is your sleeper of the week?
I'm a big Isaiah Hodgins guy for the Giants, claimed by
the
Giants.
All right, we're getting some claps for Isaiah Hodgins.
I got to drink some beers with my fans out there. I appreciate it. And there's not many, I know. But Giants claimed Hodgins from Buffalo, who openly admitted they waived him, hoping to sign him back. Just that they had to open up a practice squad roster spot or something. But the Giants made a claim, and it's a good thing they did. It took him a little while to get acclimated in New York, but he closed the regular season very strong. Caught touchdowns in 4 of his last 5 games, and I'm sorry to bring this up. Also had that monster game against Minnesota in the playoffs.
Well, he had two good games against the Vikings.
And apparently on a broken foot, he was playing essentially in the playoffs. The Eagles shut him down, but the Eagles shut down all the Giants in that game. But I'm with you, Charch. Waller should be the top receiver, tight end or wide receiver in New York, but Hodgins is the top wide receiver for me.
You're going to the Hodge Lodge with a couple of these guys.
That's right.
All right.
I love Isaiah Hodgins.
If every wide receiver who had a great game against the Vikings last year is a potential sleeper, we don't got time for that. That is a long, long list of guys.
He had good games before that game, though.
My sleeper, going off in the 4th round as quarterback 21, Matthew Stafford.
He's not going off in the 4th round. He's going off in the
14th round.
Okay, there you go.
14th round.
That's an important one.
Yeah, that is a very important distinction. Go off the board in the 14th round. Matthew Stafford is 1 year removed from a 4,900-yard passing year and 41 touchdowns and finishing as quarterback 5 2 years ago. Now, obviously, last year, total disaster. But with injuries and everything else, but this is still the same schematic offense, the same coaches. Cooper Kupp comes back. Presumably, he'll start and finish the season. And the offensive line last year came in hobbled, injured. They were down Andrew Whitworth and never recovered. The offensive line is now back and healthy. They made some offseason improvements there as well. The running game didn't offer a lot of help last year, but I think that'll balance out. Hopefully be a little bit better here. And, you know, we've been talking about Matthew Stafford forever, but he's only 35. 35's not that old by quarterback standards anymore. And so I think he's still got the ability to have a good season and outperform at least the 14th round.
Sure.
Where Matthew Stafford is going. So that is my final Fantasy Football Weekly Sleeper, our first of all of our 4 preseason editions. Let's talk about the best position to draft from, guys. Where would you like to be in the first round? Do you think the best place to be is early in the first round, the middle of the first round, or the end of the first round this year in particular, and the way this year is falling? Let's start with Brian.
I like the late first round. There's a lot of ways you can go. You can get 2 stud receivers like Garrett Wilson, who I like, not as much as Matt, but pretty much up there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, C.D. Lamb. You can grab 2 of those guys. You can grab a C.D. Lamb, Stephon Diggs, pair him with Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. Or you can get two running backs who is kind of the way I'm leaning, where you can get a Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley. I think there's just a lot of options. So you can follow the ebbs and flow of the first round, and there's a lot of ways you can go. So I like the late first round.
All right, Matt. Would you like to be in the first 4 picks, the next 4 picks, or the final 4 picks of the first round?
I'd like to draft early this year and get either Travis Kelce or Justin Jefferson on my team, but mostly Travis Kelce because he's such a gigantic difference maker at that tight end position. It's like 4 or 5 PPR points per game in addition over the second tight end.
Yeah, let alone the 12th tight end.
It's such a big differentiator. And then at the end,
Matt, who's ever been sad that they drafted Travis Kelce?
not that guy in the Chiefs jersey over there.
No, that'd be nobody ever has regretted their Travis Kelce selection.
The difference from Kelce to tight end 2 was the same as the difference from tight end 2 to tight end like 17.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
So it's such a big difference maker. And then at the end of the second and early third round, there's a lot of guys, and depending on how your draft shakes out, You could see like a Jalen Hurts there.
Yeah.
You could see a Ramondre Stevenson there. How would you like starting your draft? Kelsey, Hurts, Stevenson, Charch.
Well, that would be like nirvana. I mean, if it could actually fall that way, that would be perfect if it actually did fall that way. I mean, to me, that'd be ideal. I'm really intrigued by being at the back end of the draft, and here's why. This year, more than ever, the differential between the players isn't so great. Most years, you go in at least thinking that there's four great players that everybody wants to get. This year, I think the differential just isn't that high between the guy you're going to get at 4 and the guy you're going to get at 12. Feels like about the same player. And I agree with you on Jefferson and Kelsey, and I think they're in a sort of a tier of their own. But if I got picked 3 or 4, I'll trade down. Yeah, I'll trade to the back of that draft.
We used to do a segment on this, is like, what is the stink hole this year?
Yeah.
It might be 2.
It might be 3.
It might be 3.
Right? Jefferson, Kelsey, and then after that, I don't even care where I draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought we changed it to the rot slot. I thought we agreed on that.
The rock slot?
Rot slot.
Rot slot? All right. We could do that if you want to. All right. I'm listening to that.
I don't think that we should.
Okay. I hear you on that.
I disagree.
We're in our final moments of Fantasy Football Weekly. It's been year number 29. We're ringing in a new season with all of you. Thank you so much for coming. This has been so much fun. Stay. We got all the deep dive data. All the really good stuff is coming up for all of you that have stayed here this time. So hopefully you'll stick around for that. Lots of great stuff coming up. Thank you to KFAN and especially Treasure Island Resort and Casino for the hospitality, the awesome room, and making this possible. Very grateful to have all of their help to make this happen. Matt, Brian, thank you as well. We'll be sticking around here, and for everybody else, we'll be back next week with more Fantasy Football Weekly.
Put the pedal to the metal for Treasure Island Resort and Casinos up to $330,000 full throttle giveaway. August 25th, 26th, and 27th, you could win cash, free slot play, or a 2023 Ford Mustang. Earn entries now through August 27th by playing slots, table games, or bingo with your Island Passport Club card. Go all in on winning a brand new Ford Mustang, only at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Destination fun.
Your free online